What's going on, guys? Kyle here with Geeks with Games, bringing you part 5 of my series of The Long Dark. Last episode we left off, we had just got into this ranger station, I believe it is, and I got myself all fed, warmed up, good to go. Looted this place, slept overnight, wanted to make sure, let's see, I'm not sick anymore. No broken bones, everything's good to go. Want to make sure I was squared away and set for the adventure. Get myself ready to go. So, last video, when I left off last time, there's a fucking wolf. Are you shitting me? Man, I just cannot catch a break. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1 hour nap. Just rest it off. These are all the clothes I either abandoned or didn't need and accidentally picked up. So, I'll take myself a quick 1 hour nap, grab a snack, and hopefully the wolf will be gone. I really do not want to get in a fight with a freaking wolf right now. But in the last video, I was talking about pretty much just firearms. Now I wanted to follow up a little bit on that, and I just mostly gave my opinion on various calibers and styles of firearms and what I think would be useful and whatnot. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the budget shooter. I know not everyone has. Ooh, nice and shitty out. Not everyone has a lot of money. Not everyone can afford firearms, but they still want them. So I put together just a short list of firearms that I would personally recommend that I either have owned or currently own that can still be considered low cost, budget, but still very functional and very useful. So the first one on the list is the Mosin Nagant, also called the Nugget, depending on who you ask. I have two, actually. I call them the Nugget, and there's a lot of different models of this rifle. It was originally a Russian rifle. I believe the first model was built in 1891, but the Russian army used it for in combat, I think, what, 50, 60 years, something like that. Now I believe it's just a ceremonial weapon. But there's a lot of different models out there, and you can find them for about $100. Now, don't let the price point dissuade you. $100, these things are great rifles. I have actually two Chinese variants. They're carbine versions. They're Type 53 carbines. They're great rifles. They've got attached bayonets, just fantastic weapons, and they shoot a caliber that's 7.62 by 54R. Now that caliber is not super common in, say, like a Walmart or a Dick's Sporting Goods store, but it's very, very easy to find it at a gun store, at least one that deals in surplus, or online, and it's really cheap too. We're talking 440 round spam can or tin of it for around $100 or so. Second weapon would be a Mauser. Now it depends on what model, what country it's made in, but they usually run about 150 to 300 bucks. Now when I bought mine, I actually have a Turkish Mauser. Mine was built in 1942 and only cost me $120. Now you're probably not going to find a Turkish Mauser around that price, but they're great rifles. They're relatively inexpensive, and ammunition is pretty easy to find. It's the same deal with the Mosin Nagant, that you probably want to go online to find it. You can find surplus. It's a little harder to find, but it's out there. So let's see. I have no idea where I am right now. Now there's you're gonna find two different versions of the Mauser. There's now there's a lot of different versions of it, but two different calibers. Generally, there'll be a 7mm and the 8mm. You want the 8mm. The 7mm is going to be a lot more expensive. Ammo's going to be a lot harder to find, and the weapon itself probably be just a little bit more expensive anyways. Let's see, a third weapon I want to talk about. If you want something that's not bolt action, the last two are bolt action. 5-round internal magazines. Great weapons, but they're slow and they have a limited magazine capacity. But the flip side being they're really cheap. So, my third option would be, for a little bit more, you can get... Have I already been here? I think I might have already been here. I don't know, but we're going to go check. I think I've already been here. Third option would be an SKS. SKS is originally a Russian design. They're semi-automatic. They shoot a 7.62 by 39. I don't think I've been here actually. 7.62 by 39, which is not super hard to find. They usually have it in like Dick's Sporting Goods or Walmart or
end up being useful.
Wherever you might be. Let's see my flare. Okay, I'm just gonna keep that out. Anything underneath the bed? No. Now the SKS has an internal magazine, although they do have external mags that you can buy. 20 rounders are usually the way to go, and the rifle itself, depending on which model you get, I owned a Norinco, which is a Chinese model. The Chinese model, you can get them, you can find them for about $250. They're semi-automatic, magazine fed. You can feed the magazine with a stripper clip. 10-round stripper clip. Let's see. Fleece sweater. I wonder if that's better what I'm currently wearing. They also have Russian models and Yugoslavian models, Romanian, Albanian, but generally you're mostly going to find the Chinese and the Russians and the Yugoslavians. Definitely. Ooh, look, it's cold as shit. Yeah, definitely the Chinese and the Russian models mostly, and occasionally the Yugo one. Let's see, how cold am I? Okay, I am cold. A little hungry. Let's see the peanut butter. Other option would be an AK variant, such as a Mauser 10, and you can sometimes find them for about $450, but they're usually about $500. That's if you want to get yourself a semi-automatic magazine-fed rifle, but don't want to spend, you know, as much to get an AR. So you can usually find those for about $400 to $500 for, you know, a low-end model that will still function and work properly. Accelerant. Ooh. Matches. If you don't want a rifle, you want a shotgun, I would suggest a Harrington and Richardson Pardner pump. You can find one of those for usually about under $200. I picked mine up, let's see, 7-8 months ago. I picked one up for $189. They're essentially, well, I mean, they pretty much are a Remington 870. They're just made in China. So they're good. They're good shotguns. They're good weapons. I would definitely recommend them. As far as pistols go, I do generally recommend that you stick with something that's a little more common. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the Glock pistols, but they are common. So finding parts for it, finding magazines for it is pretty easy. Okay. Let's see if we can put our bedroll down and take a quick nap. Hopefully no wolves come up on us. That would be really shitty. So another thing I want to talk about is so we grab that, pick that up, and now we're just thirsty, so let's drink some grape soda. Good to go. I know that I mentioned that I'm not a prepper, but I keep talking about prepper things. It's not, I wouldn't consider myself a prepper. It's more like someone who who likes to be prepared for various situations, like to have a little bit of extra, you know, just stored away, tucked away for whatever situation I find myself in or find my family in. This is important. You have to take care of your family. Oh, one thing I didn't want to bring up really quick. I did have a viewer who mentioned something that I hadn't thought of before. That he does have his own bug out bag, and he has wet weather bags in there that he puts pictures of his family in. His morale is very important. It's obviously not as critical as food, water, and shelter, but it's still very important, and I definitely have been here. Okay, so we have been here. We just kind of looped around. Okay, so let's see. We're good on cold. Let's see if we can forage for some wood. Do I have any tools? Okay, I don't have any tools. So back what I was saying about not being a prepper, but still talking very much about prepper things. One thing that was brought to me earlier by a person I know who is a prepper, talking about bartering. Am I cold? Oh, I'm fucking freezing. Did I get any? Did I get any wood? I didn't even see. Alright, so roll cedar firewood was a bartering system I was talking about earlier. You talked about a bartering system because if you're ever in a situation where...
Come on, little fire.
But fuck. Ever in a situation where you needed to bug out but there were still other people around, bartering is gonna be your... might be your lifeline. Let's see. Come on, I believe in you. So... think about it. What's most valuable to people? Obviously, there's food and water. Most people, that's going to be their first choice. The first thing they're going to think of to gather. So think about the other things. What other things are people going to want? Let's add that. Melt that. So for trade and barter and whatnot, I think the most important things you can get are alcohol, smokes, medicine, and ammunition. I think those are the big things, the most important things you can possibly get in order to trade and get all the essentials and everything you need. I want to take another nap. Hopefully not set myself on fire. Let's rest for just one quick hour. Think about it. Like, just because you're in some sort of survival situation or some sort of end of the world scenario, whatever it may be, does not mean that people are all of a sudden going to want to stop smoking smoking cigarettes or drinking booze, or especially if they're hunters or trying to defend themselves. They're going to want their ammunition. They're going to want their medicine. Medicine is absolutely critical. So let's see, I went that way, and then I just looped around and went over this way. So I don't know actually how big this map is, because I always seem to end up over here. I just keep looping around. Oh my god, it's hungry as shit. I should probably eat these crackers. Good to go. Okay, so I've already been over there. I looped around over there. So my next objective should be over there. Actually, I don't even know if I checked it. I don't know, I think I did. I think I checked those already, but I don't know if I checked all of these little fishing outposts. So we've covered firearms, and we've been a lot more in depth, and then we started talking about trading. I'm not saying go out and buy 20 cartons of cigarettes and put them in your freezer for the end of the world, but it's just something to keep in mind that, you know, if you're a smoker or you collect cigars like I do.
Okay.
I have a lot of cigars. I love cigars. That, hey, it might not be a bad idea just to grab an extra extra pack, or if you have ammunition, it's always good just to buy a few extra boxes. You never know when you're gonna need it. You never know when next time you go to buy, it's not gonna be available. As you can clearly see, when I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but when President Obama was first elected, ammunition all of a sudden became very difficult to find, especially with certain calibers. And even now, it's still difficult to find like 22 long rifle. I haven't found any in store in probably 2 years. So, oh really? It's only 42 calibers or 42 calories. God, I'm talking about weapons too much. I always thought peanut butter would be a great survival food, but apparently they disagree with me in this game. I'm gonna eat this chocolate bar. I'm gonna look at my equipment really quick. Clothing. What's this replace? My thin wool sweater. No, we're gonna continue wearing that. We're gonna take the new jeans, drop the old jeans. Work boots versus basic bitch boots. Okay, this one has a little bit better. This one has a little bit better windproof bonus, and this one has a very slight warmth bonus. I'm gonna go with the windproof. So I need to eat a little bit more, and then probably good to go for a little while. The next video, I want to go more in depth on food, such as what bug out or bug in food, as well as other essentials, things you might not think to have in with your equipment or to have in your house, just having extras of. So if you have any questions or any topics you want me to cover, leave a comment below. I don't know why I got this game. If this was any other game other than an alien game, I probably would not have gotten it, because I don't do horror games very well. I try to compensate for the fact that I am very startled right now by talking about just stupid inane bullshit.